I think it's very fundamental that we're looking at something that starts pretty much at the grassroots. We're looking at something that starts at the grassroots. We're looking at the family unit and how that in itself has caused the kind of disparity in healthcare delivery we have towards our older parents. If we look at the family, mentioned something now about how your son didn't remember your phone number. I'm going to start with that critically when we look at the family unit. All right, so part of the reasons why we have this conversation today is looking at why men die earlier than the female gender. We have that in a large number that causes for worry. Earlier on, you did explain how your son didn't remember your number and you felt that already the patterns were set. I want to ask, is it because of the natural roles that parents play in the home that causes for some of these actions? You'll find that they'll say the husband or the father is the one who goes out to look for money, he's the one who provides the home, but his business basically is to go out there and look for money to sustain the family. And the mother's traditional role now is the one who keeps the home. So she's the one who cares for the child, she's the one who cares for the father when he returns. Basically just keep the household as it were. Is this one of the first areas or pointers as to how children grow up more attached to their mothers and definitely give them more care towards their old age?
Okay, let me just say in the two parts from you have been able just to put it. First of all, as a doctor right now, I'm also very much interested in the health of these little ones. Yes, because you look at it is that the first question is, I made mention of having more widows.
Yes.
Why do these men
die early?
What really happened in the male folks, while it seems as if they don't survive longer than the female folks? And that is actually a kind of a multifactorial issue, because multifactorial in the sense that many people, it starts from the in the womb, as it were.
Okay.
It discovered that a male has a chromosome, XY chromosome, and the Y chromosome of a male child, a male baby, or a fetus tend to undergo a lot of mutation easily. That's it can undergo some easy changes and all that. So that's why the male children in the womb suffer more of congenital abnormalities. Most of them hardly survive. If you hear most people say, I lost my baby, you find out that majority of those babies they lost are males.
Really?
Yes. Because of those, a lot of factors in vitro. When it has to do inside the womb. Yeah. All right. And on the course of being outside also, it has been found by study that the frontal part of the brain, which is actually a part that actually gives information about judgment, all right, and also analysis of the consequences of an action. The male, that particular portion of the brain tend to grow slower, all right. So that makes young children to take more risk.
More male children?
Male children take more risk. At that early stage, you can do some unusual things.
Now I'm looking back at all these young boys. Yes.
So they take more risk because they mind to put up proper judgment, analysis of the consequences of the action. It grew very slowly. So that's why you see most of them go into early smoking, drinking, driving in a very
rough manner
that sometimes you see them go at that particular young age. And going further also is the aspect that men do to take risk, high risk jobs, all right? That's why men can be sent to offshore more than the females. And looking at what is happening in Port Harcourt, which I'll give a very good credit and thanks to Governor Wike. Yes. Now, you look at the suit. The suit is just like a product of burning of crude oil. That is more or less have a lot of chemicals that can kill. All right? But why people suffer what they suffer by raising or receiving the films out, What about those guys that were
Very-
right inside there where they are burning those things? They may make the money, but they will not live for it. So I thank Governor Wike standing to save life. In fact, what the action he took, people don't understand, because in the recent time when we do the X-ray, we discover some a kind of opacities. Like you can see in biliary tuberculosis and some of this. So I was asking my my radiology unit, what exactly could be responsible? Is it artifact that you people are having in your place? It's organized, so we have been seeing it in the recent time. Because of the things people are hearing. Now think about the fellow who is right inside there. So at the end of the day, you will not, there's no medical guarantee that those people will live beyond a certain middle age. You will see a lot of issues, coming up in that. So men tend to have such a risk job and risk engagement, whether self-induced or not. And most importantly is that men hardly go to hospital. They hardly consider their health. A man made a statement that men squander their health in search of wealth. And when they found it, they will not squander that very wealth. Looking for the health, they will never find it. They can only find it in the grave. So, most men, if a child has any concern, take him to the hospital. The wife complain, go to the hospital. But himself, I can manage this, it's not too much. It's just a slight headache. Just a slight headache. A man had a car accident, so he hit something, and people came. And I asked him, okay, say the man, as they were carrying, say, bring me my pocket, my purse is in the boat, bring it for me. So eventually tried to take him to the, so they call a cab. The cab man asked him, okay, he said the cab man, he said, cab man, how much is it? The guy, he said is 1,500, so that is a bag of cement. No, I'm okay, I'm getting better. It is not serious. So the tendency of men trying to, a lot of men, as I'm talking right now, they have hypertension, diabetes, and men die more of heart-related diseases. It's almost 50% of men die of heart-related diseases than women. So, on that particular accord, he discovered that the reason for this is that some of them will have poorly treated hypertension. Diabetes, he told me, he said, no, I can manage it. One day we'll be in the office and slump. Unfortunate that we have in a world where witches and wizards can easily be the diagnosis of whatever happened. So, that's part of the reason why you see that most times men will have problems. They will not go to hospital. They can't go for early dictation. They will be losing weight. They're just there, So that's actually contribute to that. So all those are some of the factors that made men to be dying quite earlier than the counterpart. But at this particular point in time, we're also looking at what do you think that actually could make such an abandonment? Because we are looking at, apart from all these diseases or
that can kill them earlier.
Now let's look at how they end. We have a situation in the country or in our traditional society where we hardly remember and think of caring for our fathers. So when you see people, there are people that they can't even be proud to say, this is my father. Yes, I mean, it's not just doing it unintentionally, it's just because the problem is that I can't imagine identifying with such a pathetic somehow or ill-looking man to be my father. But that person is your father. So, because these people have been abandoned, I now start making it so. Why is it that most times we see men retire, they go to village? Why not stay in the city?
The stress is too much.
Which kind of stress? They are moving to the village so that they can have people that can even be, when you have people, here that you can talk with.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
You could be in position to share what the other person is passing through.
Mm-hmm.
You also can be talking about it. Sometimes they don't know who to complain to again. I actually been in the issue of a knee replacement for arthritis.
Okay.
And I can tell you that 95% on all the knee replacement we have done for severe osteoarthritis, all of them are the mothers their children brought for that very procedure. But hardly. The men that did that very procedure are those that maybe by reason of their own financial capacity.
Were not brought in by their children.
Not brought by their children. Hardly. Not found. I'm just telling you how serious this is. And you see a lot of these men right there in the villages on walking stick. You can see practical and palpable pains. And that man will be in that pain all through his lifetime. And that is all he has labored for. Most of them, when they are talking about the issue of mom,
yes.
say the nearest is the dearest, so they will go for the shopping for the father will bring money, he will just care and all that. And I will tell you something very striking here.
Please do.
Most times, even the women they've mastered that strategy. Sorry for me to say that. And the men should be careful of this. They have to be very sensitive on what I want to say right now.
Okay.
Very sensitive.
Go ahead.
They have somehow made availability of men or that very closeness with the children very remote.
Okay.
Because they take everything, they take care of it. Even when the child will commit something in the house, the mom will know that we even tell the child, your father will kill you today. Not herself because of what the baby committed. Then, when the father, having been tired, has some rough time in the office and come back, immediately the man comes back, the woman will bring the story of perhaps what happened to Junior or what the Junior did. After telling the story, then in fact before the husband will come back, he must have prepared one cane and keep by the side of the man so he will not start going around. Maybe
very close to you.
So immediately the man will take up the cane and start flogging. Junior will be crying, "Mommy, help me!" Not the daddy. "Mommy, help me! Mommy, please! Mommy, please!" After a while, as he cry, then the mom will jump in and say, "Leave the child now. Do you want to kill him? You want to kill him? Please, it's okay, it's okay." And now, so from that day, the son will see the father as a very wicked man. And
the mother is the savior.
Oh, the mom is the savior. Do you understand me?
Yes.
So that start building up over time. That's why I'm advocating today that the men should start getting involved in care. Honestly,
So are you saying the moms report what the child has done? You should ask what they have. What did the mother do to the child when they learned this? Like if the mother reports a child to the father, should the fathers now start asking the mother, so when you learnt of this, what did you do?
For where, they package it in such a manner that it is...
Expert packages.
Yes, it's the man that will take the whole thing. So when he gets those money and they're using it, and it's so painful. I know about a man who, as he was in the Civil Service Commission, one occasion we got to know, he said that his age was 48 years. 48 years old. Whereas his first daughter is 37. So the question is, when did he born this?
He was 11.
Just to be in civil service, to enable him train those our colleagues, one of the children happened to be our colleague in the university there, to be able to come out from school so that he will not retire without taking care of the child. That man, unfortunately, if you see him today, very painful to mention. I attended the burial of one of my, it's a friend, they're actually abroad. But when the father died, I have the privilege of getting there. And I saw the corpse of the father. It was like one dried wood, log of wood dry. I couldn't imagine. If we see practical suffering and the man would die with claws in his mouth. And the children are abroad, unfortunately to mention, the wife also was abroad. But the man was in the village, nobody cares. As I'm talking to you now, it's a practical thing that somebody listening to me, my first question is to ask, where is your father? Picture the right thing. Picture the location of your father now and the condition. Some of them will have heart-related heart failure. The leg will be swollen. He can't sleep. If you do small thing, he will be panting. And right there in the house, they will say, go to chemist if they will be able to. They will be in position to attend. And the worst thing that is happening in our society today is that we have taken over the honor that's supposed to be due our parents. And we now have spiritual fathers, spiritual mothers, spiritual whatever. We take care of these ones. And your father and your mother will be somewhere dying in pain. Nobody cares. And somebody will be telling me and say that you will be in position to, the man in this village people are the ones responsible for what is happening to you, not to be in position to progress. You understand me? So that you shouldn't go to village to see the condition of that man. Of your parents. Many people can't go. They tell you demon or spiritual wickedness. That is the greatest deception in our time. Because the father may be there. Nobody to care. You see, it's when you see somebody and see the real condition of that person that sometimes you have this kind of passion. Why should I allow this man to die like this? Yeah. But many people are in the cities, abroad, they can't be in position to attend to the need of their father. And the man will just be dying there. The man will be losing weight. He can't go to the toilet because he may have cancer of the intestine. Most of those cancers can be cured. Just picked early. Just pick it early. It can be cured. But today, a lot of them are in the village, stealing blood, urinating blood, and nobody is asking, Daddy, can you come over? Come over, let's see you. Let's know how you are feeling. That is the essence of somebody laboring and he saying the fruit, or they call it the fruit of your labor. And this is becoming like a culture. Yes. A culture on everybody. And I want to put it across to anybody. There is no prayer of a man of God, no prayer of any woman of God can supersede the blessing of your father. Parents. No, it can't. Because it's one thing with a promise. The Lord said, honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days be long. And God said, I will satisfy you with long life. Meaning that pleasure that you can have long life that is a mystery. You see, mystery. You
go throughout. You have diverse issues. Yes.
So it sees a lot of people, even when we are talking about some people not being cared for. Yes. It's also a product of how did you treat your own father when you are still there. So when they get old, the same thing that happened will also be in position to happen to them. You know, so it is something that has come to a very awakening call. Must we allow the man who brought us here, who brought you here, to be in position just to die like that? And everybody will be preparing that my father's burial. Nonsense. And at that burial is when you will build some can even be a hotel where your friends will stay. When they come in for the burial. When they come in for the burial. Some will be in position renovate, so it's a big guy. Who celebrate that nonsense? Who celebrates this? That's why if the man is, the person can see, he will give you a knock. Serious knock. Stupid son of.
Even spiritual knock, please. You're building hotel now.
Yeah, building hotel, whereas the man had no place to be. The man had no place to be. I can tell you authoritatively and prophetically, most people's suffering is a product of how they have kept their mom and their dad. Now see, they will tell you your mom is a witch, your dad is a wizard. You know, it's a common thing in our society.
Yeah.
You know, so your mom is a witch, your dad is a witch. Okay. The person prophesying to you is prophesying to the son or the daughter of a witch or a wizard. It's a simple thing. Do you understand? And the essence of that very prophecy is for you to abandon them. Sometimes you will receive prophecies that will tell you, don't give them money. Don't give them money. Satanic prophecy. Wickedness of the highest order. Don't give your parents money. Why?
So that they would witchcraft you.
Yes, they will not witchcraft you. You see how horrible that is? Number one is, in the journey of you in defense, you don't use evil to pay back evil. No. The Bible said, if your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he's thirsty, give him drink. That is the scripture that is not in our dictionary anymore. It's not in the Bible at all. If your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he's thirsty, give him drink. That as you are doing so, you are heaping burning coals upon his head. As a matter of fact, the best way of defense is to be able to show goodwill. It's the best way of defense. But today, we turn it in such a manner that now everybody has spiritual mothers, spiritual fathers, and you are caring and doing all manner of things for them. Why these ones that brought you here? Abandoned. Right there in the villages, dying in pain. What will come out from their mouths? You can't escape it. There's no two ways about it. So is an awakening call. Now I will tell you this, because I'm not here to exonerate anybody in terms of justifying or condemning anybody, because we know that there are a lot of experiences people do have when it has to do with
the family unit and growing up.
Yeah, family unit and growing up. A lot of people will say, hey, my daddy was very wicked. How he treated my mom. You know,
he married another woman.
Yes, he married another woman. And so many other things like that. Okay? I'm not here to be in position even to go into the emphasis on that. But one thing is, as a son, as a daughter, God bless you and bless you for the sake of reconciling what went wrong. It's not me bringing you and blessing you to be a judge. As a matter of fact, you can't judge your parents. You don't have this. Scripturally, it is not of you to judge them. I was talking with a lady outside the country just last month, and she was telling me how the father has been, all the things the father did, that man, he will never smell her 1 naira. Never will be in position to touch her 1 naira. When she was talking, and I asked her, will you mind if you reason along this line? The position you are right now in this country, having the privilege of getting dollar, and you are saying that this is my money, did you know that you are here because of the spend of that useless man? As a matter of fact, what you are in their position is the sperm of your father. There's no two ways about it. Reason it from any angle, there is something this man deposited in your favor. Who do you think you are? You are the sperm of your father. Hey, simple thing that would look like. After which she cried a little and said, I will call her. I will call him. And that is a very wonderful thing. What a salvation, I will call it. She was able, as soon as she said, I will call him, her peace.
Indeed.
Her peace returned. Some of us right now so paterned with our parents, and we have all manner of reason, which also some spiritual entities and other will help us solidify why you should be in that very place. You are dying, you are not living. There's no two ways about it. Why I say that it's not in the power of any child to judge the parents. No, it's not. There happened to be an occasion where Noah happened to be drunk and incidentally went naked.
Yes.
All right? The son Ham came and saw him naked. He ran to his brothers and started mocking him. They said, oh, you didn't know that our father. These other children took cloths and went backward and went and covered the father's nakedness. When the father got up, he said to Ham, servant or servants will you be? That word was confirmed by the who may call a drunkard. The generation of Ham, misery all through their generation because of the cause of that very man. That's why I said there is nobody that can bless you. Forget about all these things we try just to make today as it is. There is no man or God that can bless you more powerfully than the blessing of your father. I'm a product of that. A time came, I bought big tubers of yam, everything big. I went to him and said, Daddy bless me. And the rest is out upon me. I said, you will be greater than all your it was. And
You're witnessing that.
I completely believe that part of the reason things are working is the blessing of the Father. Do you understand me? It's the blessing of your Father. Even for you to get close to God, that kind of blessing can also be guiding you to get to the path where you should be able to meet greatness. So what I'm trying to say in effect at this very juncture, it has become very necessary for anyone, listen to me today, please. It's not a one-day thing, it's an advocacy
that must continue.
That must have to continue. People have to come out and say no. If you've lost your father, your father-in-law contributed to that wife you say, I married the best, my children came from you, I'm so happy. Remember that man. Remember that man. It's not that I'm saying somebody who doesn't even have money to eat. Most of us have money. That's just the thing. More money, because most of the people that have done knee replacement
surgeries,
for their mom, their dads are all there. You see most of them in the village looking very capacitic. Permit me to tell you,
please go ahead.
When you see a person that is looking ill-looking or looking malnourished, the fact remains that body of a person is designed to get replenished, just like a grass. When there's no water, they may look dry. But once you start watering it, it will still come back again. A person that has kwashiorkor, if you feed the person with the right meal, the flesh will come back full again. That same man you call your father, looking as if he's not somebody that will be representing you, can be fed, can be cared for, and it will bounce back in a manner that if you look at the flesh, it gives you something appetizing.
It looks healthy.
Yes, it looks healthy. It's possible for that to be. Now, most importantly, is that most men during from the age of 55, 60 going on, prostate problem comes in, some other intestinal problems and all that comes in, heart-related diseases. And these ones needed not just only medication, they need to go for comprehensive health check. They need to go for